It was around midnight when my phone rang, a number I didn't recognize. Hello? I answered, half asleep in my hotel room. A voice, urgent, serious. Sir, this is Mercy General Hospital. Your daughter is in critical condition. We need you here immediately. My heart stopped. I shot up from bed. My daughter? The hospital? I had been gone for just 2 days, a short work trip, nothing unusual, nothing out of the ordinary. Or at least, that's what I thought. The morning I left, I kissed my wife, Lisa, goodbye. She smiled sweetly, whispering, I'll miss you. Our 6-year-old daughter, Emily, hugged me tight, her tiny arms wrapping around my neck. Bring me a present, Daddy, she giggled. I promised I would. As I boarded my flight, I felt at ease. My family was safe at home. I couldn't have been more wrong. Lisa wasted no time as soon as I was gone. She had planned everything. She called her lover, a man I didn't even know existed, and left our daughter home alone, all night. She turned off her phone, ignored messages, ignored calls. Emily, just 6 years old, was left in that house alone, scared and helpless. And then, the worst happened. It was around midnight when my phone rang, a number I didn't recognize. Hello? I answered, half asleep in my hotel room. A voice, urgent, serious. Sir, this is Mercy General Hospital. Your daughter is in critical condition. We need you here immediately. My heart stopped. I shot up from bed. My daughter? The hospital? What happened? I demanded. She needs a donor immediately, sir. We've been trying to reach your wife, but her phone is off. Lisa. A wave of rage shot through me. Where the hell was she? I didn't have time to think. I booked the first flight back home and rushed to the airport, my hands shaking as I dialed Lisa's number. Straight to voicemail. Again and again. No answer. My daughter was fighting for her life, and my wife was missing. That's when I made a vow. When I found Lisa, there would be no forgiveness. The flight home felt like an eternity. I couldn't think straight. My mind was a storm of panic, rage, and helplessness. I kept trying Lisa's phone. Voicemail every time. Where the hell was she? My little girl was in the hospital, and her mother was... what? Sleeping in another man's bed? Laughing? Drinking? Completely unaware that her daughter was fighting for her life? By the time the plane landed, my hands were shaking so badly I could barely grab my bag. I ran out of the airport, barely breathing. The hospital was 20 minutes away, the longest 20 minutes of my life. The moment I stepped inside, a nurse spotted me. Her face softened with something I immediately recognized. Pity. And I knew. Something was wrong. Something was horribly, irreversibly wrong. I'm Emily's father, I gasped, out of breath. Where is she? The nurse hesitated. Why was she hesitating? Then a doctor stepped forward. Mr. Carter, I'm so sorry. Everything stopped. My ears started ringing. We did everything we could, but the complications... No, number. She didn't make it. I stopped breathing. A sound left my throat, a broken, shattered sound I didn't even recognize. This wasn't real. This couldn't be real. I stumbled forward, gripping the doctor's coat. No, she was waiting for me. Tears blurred my vision. But the truth stood right there, cold and merciless. Emily was gone. Where was Lisa? I collapsed into the nearest chair, hands gripping my face. My daughter, my baby girl, was dead. And Lisa hadn't even picked up her phone. She didn't know, she didn't care. And in that moment, I knew. She was about to lose everything. I would make damn sure of it. I sat in that hospital room, staring at the wall, my mind numb. Emily was gone. Not because of an accident, not because of something unavoidable. She was gone because her own mother abandoned her, because Lisa turned off her phone to spend the night in another man's bed. She chose her affair over our daughter. And now, she would have to live with that choice. I checked my phone one last time. No missed calls, no texts. Lisa was still missing. I finally forced myself to stand and walk out of the hospital, my chest hollow. My body moved on its own, not really thinking, just existing. But as soon as I stepped outside, something inside me snapped. Lisa had to pay. This wasn't just about infidelity anymore. This was about our daughter's life. And I would make sure Lisa felt every ounce of pain she had caused. I called Lisa one last time. Voicemail. Fine. I went home. My fists clenched so tightly my nails dug into my palms. I knew exactly where she was. I had her location shared on my phone. And when I checked, she was at a hotel. Of course. She was probably curled up in bed with him right now, laughing, celebrating, completely unaware that her daughter was dead. And I was about to walk in and change her world forever. The drive to the hotel was a blur. I didn't feel the steering wheel under my hands. I didn't register the city lights flashing past me. All I felt was rage. A burning, unstoppable rage that built with every second. Lisa was celebrating. While our daughter had died alone in a hospital bed, she was wrapped up in some other man's arms, laughing, drinking, living without a care in the world. I checked her location again. Room 214, Grandview Hotel. I clenched my jaw. Fine. Let's see how grand this night turns out for her. I parked, stepped out, and walked straight through the hotel lobby. No hesitation. No second guessing. The elevator ride was silent. Just me, my breathing, and my pounding heart. As I stood in front of room 214, I didn't knock. I kicked the door open. Lisa screamed. Her lover, some cheap middle-aged scumbag, scrambled for the blankets, his eyes wide with shock. Lisa pulled the sheets around herself, her mouth open in horror. Finally, she looked guilty. Too late. What are you doing here? She stammered. I didn't speak. I just held up my phone, opened the last message from the hospital, and read it out loud. I'm sorry, Mr. Carter. Your daughter didn't make it. Lisa's face went white. She blinked, shaking her head as if she hadn't heard me right. What? She whispered. Emily is dead. My voice was cold, emotionless. Because you left her alone. Lisa gasped. She covered her mouth, tears instantly welling in her eyes. Fake tears. No, that can't be. Where were you, Lisa? I snapped. While our daughter was dying? Where the hell were you? She opened her mouth, but I didn't let her speak. Don't answer. I already know. I turned my gaze to her lover, who was frozen, pale as a ghost. Did she tell you she was married? That she had a daughter? The man swallowed hard, looking like he wanted to be anywhere but here. Lisa started sobbing, reaching for me. I didn't know. I swear I didn't think. I stepped back. Don't touch me. Her lover finally spoke. Dude, shut the hell up. My voice was low. Dangerous. He shut his mouth instantly. Lisa sobbed harder. I didn't mean for this to happen. You didn't mean for this to happen? I repeated, my voice dripping with disgust. You didn't mean to leave your daughter alone so you could screw some guy? She had no excuse. And now, she had no way out. I pulled something from my pocket. Divorce papers. Signed. Sealed. Done. I tossed them onto the bed. Lisa looked at them, then at me, her face twisting in horror. No, please, we can fix this. We? I laughed bitterly. There is no we anymore, Lisa. I stepped closer, my voice dropping to a deadly whisper. Your affair didn't just end our marriage. It ended our daughter's life. And now, I'm going to make sure you lose everything." Lisa's breath hitched. I turned and walked away, my heart cold, empty. Lisa had no idea yet, but her real punishment was only beginning. Lisa sat frozen on the bed, her tear-streaked face a mix of horror and disbelief. She opened her mouth to beg again, but I didn't care. I had already made my decision. This wasn't just about divorce. This was about ruining her life. I took a deep breath, my voice cold and steady. "By the time I'm done with you, Lisa, you'll have nothing." Her eyes widened, panic creeping in. What do you mean?" I pulled out my phone and opened my banking app. Lisa watched as I transferred every last cent out of our joint account. Her eyes bulged. "Wait, no! You can't do that!" she shrieked, scrambling forward. I held up a finger. "Watch me." A second later, the transaction was complete. Lisa grabbed her own phone and frantically tried to log in. She gasped. The account was empty. "You drained it?" "But that was our money." I gave her a cold smile. "Number, that was my money. You never worked a day in your life, Lisa. I earned every damn cent. You just spent it." Her face turned red. "But I need that money." "For what?" I tilted my head. "Another hotel night with your lover?" Her lover, still in bed, looked like he wanted to disappear. Lisa gritted her teeth. "You can't just leave me with nothing." I smirked. "Watch me." I stepped closer. "By the way, Lisa, you might want to start packing." She blinked. "What?" "The house," I said. "It's in my name. The car, also mine. The credit cards, already canceled." Lisa's breath hitched. Her world was crumbling, piece by piece. She grabbed my arm. Please don't do this. I was stupid. I made a mistake." I yanked my arm away. "A mistake?" My voice turned deadly. "A mistake is forgetting to buy milk. A mistake is misplacing your keys. You left our daughter alone to die so you could sleep with another man. That's not a mistake, Lisa. That's who you are." Lisa collapsed onto the bed, shaking. I felt nothing. Not an ounce of pity. Not an ounce of regret. This was what she deserved. And I wasn't done yet. Lisa sat in stunned silence, her hands trembling. She still didn't fully grasp the depth of what was happening. But I wasn't done yet. I turned to her lover, who was still sitting in our bed, watching the chaos unfold. "You," I said, my voice cold as steel. He flinched. "Get out." He hesitated for half a second before scrambling to grab his clothes. Lisa reached for him. "Wait." He yanked his arm away. "Oh, hell no, Lisa. I'm not getting in the middle of this." He bolted. Lisa watched him leave, her last shred of dignity, walking out the door. She turned back to me, desperate. "Please, we can fix this." I laughed. "Fix this?" "Lisa, there's nothing left to fix." She tried to touch me again, but I stepped back. "You threw away our marriage, our family, our life. For what? A few nights with another man?" She shook her head. "It wasn't like that." I tilted my head. "No? So tell me, what was it like?" She opened her mouth, closed it. There was no excuse, and she knew it. Lisa wiped her tears and squared her shoulders. "Fine," she snapped. "You want to leave? Go ahead. I don't need you," I smirked. "Oh, Lisa, you don't understand." I reached into my pocket and pulled out a single document. Her eyes flickered to it, then widened in horror. "Divorce papers?" she whispered. I nodded. "Already signed. You'll get served officially tomorrow." Lisa lunged for the papers as if tearing them up would undo what had already been set in motion. I stepped back. "It's over, Lisa." She let out a choked sob. But what about everything we built together?" I scoffed. We didn't build anything. I built a life for us. You burned it to the ground. Lisa clutched her head. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I leaned in. Well, Lisa, actions have consequences. Her breathing turned shallow because she finally understood. She had lost everything, and I was just getting started. Lisa's spiraling. She's realizing she made the worst mistake of her life, but her real suffering hasn't even begun yet. Lisa sat there, gripping the divorce papers like they were a death sentence. Her breathing was shallow, her eyes wild with disbelief. You can't just leave me like this, she whispered. I smirked. Oh, but I can, and I already have. She shook her head, trying to regain some control. You're angry. You're overreacting. We can work through this. I cut her off with a laugh. Overreacting? Lisa, our daughter is dead because of you. You cheated on me, abandoned her, and now you think you can talk your way out of this? Her lip trembled. She knew she couldn't. I walked over to my closet, pulling out a small black duffel bag. Lisa's eyes darted to it. What's that? My things, I said simply. I've already packed. I'm leaving tonight. She gasped. Wait, tonight? But where will you go? I zipped the bag shut. Far away from you. Lisa scrambled forward, grabbing my arm. Please, please don't do this, she sobbed. I made a mistake. I'll make it up to you. I swear. I yanked my arm free. Too late, Lisa. Way too late. She dropped to her knees, sobbing uncontrollably. She was finally feeling the weight of her choices. But I didn't care, because my revenge wasn't over yet. As Lisa cried, I pulled out my phone and opened my messages. She sniffled. What are you doing? I smirked, making sure everyone knows exactly who you are. With one click, I sent out a mass message. To her family, her friends, her workplace, screenshots of her texts, proof of her affair, every dirty detail. Lisa's phone dinged over and over as the messages spread. Her face drained of color. Oh my God, she whispered. I stood up straight. You wanted freedom, Lisa? Congratulations. Now everyone knows exactly how you got it. She grabbed her phone, her hands shaking as she saw the messages. Her mom called, then her sister, then her boss. Her life was imploding in real time. Lisa let out a strangled scream, throwing her phone across the room. But it didn't matter. The damage was already done. She had lost her husband, her money, her house, and now, her reputation. And I wasn't done yet. Lisa is hitting rock bottom. She's watching everything slip away. Her life, her dignity, her future. Lisa sat in the wreckage of her own life, her hands trembling, her face pale as she stared at the divorce papers. But the worst was yet to come. She didn't realize it yet, but I had one last move to make. I slung my bag over my shoulder and walked toward the door. Where are you going? Lisa asked weakly, her voice barely a whisper. I smirked. You'll see soon enough. And with that, I walked out. I drove to the bank, where I had already set everything in motion. Lisa thought she had time to negotiate, to beg, to manipulate her way back into my life. She didn't. I had spent weeks preparing for this. By the time she realized what was happening, our joint bank account was empty. I drained every last cent. She had no money, no husband, no family willing to take her in. Her boss? He fired her after the scandal spread. Her lover? He ghosted her the second things got messy. She was truly, completely alone, and I made sure of it. Days later, I got a message from an unknown number. It was Lisa. Please, I don't know where to go. I don't have anything left. I stared at the screen, letting her words sink in. And then, with zero hesitation, I blocked her number. Lisa was nothing to me now. She had gambled with our marriage. She had lost. And now, she would live with the consequences. I vanished from Lisa's life completely. Moved to another city, changed my number, started fresh, away from the wreckage she left behind. And Lisa? Last I heard, she was bouncing from couch to couch, unable to hold down a job, drowning in regret. But by then, I had already stopped caring, because my revenge wasn't just about hurting her. It was about reclaiming my life. And that's exactly what I did. Lisa realized too late what she had lost. But there was no going back. Revenge was complete.